Good morning. My name is Stephen York. I'm the pastor of the Stonington, Maine United Methodist Church, located in Stonington, Maine, the United States of America. This morning I'm preaching on the subject, are you married to amazement? And this morning we're going to look at amazement. We're going to look at the fact that Jesus was referred to some 75 times in the New Testament with some form of the word amaze or amazement, or that he was amazing. And more importantly, this morning, I want to begin again with this quote from Mary Oliver, which I'm going to read to you. It is from her book of poetry, which includes the poem, When Death Comes. And the line at the top of your order of service is there because I think it is at the heart of what I am preaching this morning. Mary Oliver, who lost her partner of 40 years, wrote about herself, when it's all over, I want to say all my life I was married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. I was struck by that line in Mary Oliver. I stumbled across it as I was reading Mary Oliver's works this week and other works. Donald Hall and Jane Kenyon have been on my radar this week, but this line, are you married to amazement, struck me. And it struck me somewhat humorously, so that by the time I got it in an ad for the paper, and a couple of people asked, well, what are you preaching on? Which usually they get the sentence, the title, that's it. And I said, well, I'm preaching on, are you married to amazement? And the reaction I got were people laughed. They said, what do you mean? And then I could see their heads turning and, you know, do I mean, are you married to an amazing person? Or why use the word amazed and marriage in the same line? And so I want to say for the record, just to be clear, that while I am not preaching on whether you have an amazing partner in your life, I want to go on record saying everyone who knows me knows that I know Catherine's amazing. And I'm married to her. But having said that, that is not the sermon. The word amaze or amazement entered the English language in Middle English around 1250, AD 1250. And in the beginning of time, in fact, even further back, if you take the root word amaze, it goes back to about AD 1000. It was a sense of a word that was used to bring out a sense of astonishment or fear or terror. And certainly when we get into the New Testament, there are times, or even the Old Testament, when people encountered what they perceived to be God's presence. Some of them fell flat on their faces. They were terrified. They were amazed. So in the beginning, in the English language, the word amaze meant something that was very astonishing, but had some negative connotations. Around the period of 1250 to 1500 AD, it began to take on also a new meaning. In fact, it superseded the negative words. They were the negative meanings became obsolete, and so to be amazed or astonished in the English language began to have more positive connotations. And so the sense of amazement that Mary Oliver has in that line captivated me because of its positive presence. Mary Oliver, as a poet, is very precise. How could one not be precise in a Pulitzer Prize-winning poet or a National Book Award-winning poet? But her language centers on nature and spirituality, and so it is within the context. When Mary Oliver uses the word amazement, it brings a particular context for me. We heard it in the poem that our lay leader read this morning, The Ponds. And there's a line in there that says, I don't want to stop, I want to be dazzled. And she describes nature with such beauty and precision. The woman is moved by poetry and with animals and nature and the sea. We have another one about the sea that we'll read later in the service. And so it's in this sense of wonder and astonishment that she engages our hearts with her poetry. And the word married to amazement really grabbed me. I mean, you would agree, wouldn't you, that it's stronger than I was just amazed or wowed? I mean, to be married to amazement? When I think of marriage, I think of a priority, a commitment, a passion, a deep love, one that is not trifled with or messed with. And so her passion for nature and the ocean and for the frogs and all of God's wonderful gifts that we have here, the lilies. She's astonished. She's amazed, but she's not only amazed and astonished, she's married to it. I began to think in contrast with Mary Oliver as I thought about this, about how many people are married to negativity. The cup is always half empty. Or there's some flaw. But Mary Oliver in that poem, The Pond, says that in spite of all the flaws that are around us and within us, life is so amazing and it's wonderful, and we can drink from its wells and drink with our eyes and feast upon the glories that there are. As I came home late from the hospital last night from visiting one of our members, it was a night when it seemed as though there were diamonds everywhere in the sky. Did you see it? It was amazing. Oh, to be married to a sense of wonder. I think that's what Jesus meant when he said that when we enter the kingdom or understand spirituality, that we need to come at it as a child, with a sense of curiosity, before it's killed in many, many ways in our educational system. That curiosity that says, I wonder why. Remember when, as children, there was such amazement. It would come out at Christmas time. I remember how, I don't know what they're doing these days, but kids would often play with the wrappings and the ribbon and the boxes. And you spend so much money on the